Continuing story on day 3 of the aftermath of that terrible earthquake which struck in southern Turkey and the northern western part of Syria. More than 11,000 people are known to have died following the earthquakes, one after the other, about 4 a.m. on Monday morning, followed by a further quake almost as intense a few hours later. The death toll will almost certainly rise as rescue workers and civilians continue to search the rubble, and survivors trapped beneath it succumb to their injuries and indeed to 2 nights of bitterly cold weather. The earthquake was the biggest in the region since 1999, and they triggered dozens of aftershocks along the East Anatolian fault line, which is one of the world's most active areas for seismic activity. Let's bring you some live pictures now. These are from one of the affected cities. This is Gaziantep, which we hope to hear from a little later in the course of this hour from the various international rescue efforts that are taking place. We'll be speaking to some of those who have arrived from the UK in the last few hours in an attempt to try to find help and provide help and see exactly what is needed. One of the biggest problems, of course, is that it occurred in the early hours of the morning, which means most people were indoors, mostly asleep, which has contributed to the large number of casualties and fatalities. The other problem now, when it's getting increasing anger being expressed on social media and in interviews, is concerns about what happened to an earthquake tax. So-called earthquake tax was introduced after the 1999 quake, which had raised about £3.8 billion and was supposed to be spent on improving disaster prevention and emergency services. Well, in these areas, at least, many people are saying they've seen no help, they've seen no emergency services, they've seen no food distribution, and they've seen no attempts to protect them from the terrible conditions, including, of course, lack of basic water supply and being able to keep warm. That tax was introduced after 17,000 people were killed in 1999, and many people will be concerned, of course, that there will be much more. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is facing election in just 3 months' time from now. Said it'll be his last. It could be his last either way, because his poll ratings have not been good, although they've recovered a little this month. He's on the way to the region. He may well already be down in the region, and we'll, of course, bring you more on that. Let's take our first report on this hour from Howard Johnson.
The desperate search for survivors continued overnight, often in bitterly cold conditions. But with each hour that passes, the chance of finding more people alive diminishes. In worst-hit Hatay, Turkey, a grim scene brightened by the smiles of rescuers. A woman has just been pulled alive from a collapsed building. Elsewhere, relatives call out to their loved ones, assuring the trapped that help is on its way. The first 7.8 magnitude quake struck near Gaziantep in the early hours of Monday, followed by a 7.5 magnitude tremor hours later. Whole streets reduced to rubble in less than a minute. Syrian authorities have reported deaths as far south as Hama, more than 150 miles from the epicenter. In this war-torn country, there are limited emergency services, so relatives are digging with their hands to try to save the buried.
We need excavators. We need equipment. We don't have anything.
Some overwhelmed by heartbreak, like this man desperately searching for his wife.
Fatima, where are you? Where have you gone?
Rescuers in the country say there's still hope more people can be found.
For sure, there are people still alive right now and waiting for us, waiting for help, waiting for our efforts to reach them.
3 Britons are among the thousands missing, according to the Foreign Office. A team of 77 UK search and rescue specialists equipped with concrete braking tools and 4 sniffer dogs arrived in Turkey yesterday. In the UK, community centres continue to gather donations to send to those in need. King Charles has sent his special prayers to victims of the earthquake and the rescue teams working tirelessly to help them. Howard Johnson, BBC News.